Welcome to the SVG-TV news for Thursday, March 19th. I'm Khalil Kato with the details. The family of Chanel John, a mother of 3 of Camden Park, who was killed in a fatal road accident in Rillen Hill yesterday afternoon, is trying to come to grips with her death. John, 31, who was a gas station attendant in Kettles, was reportedly struck by a pickup T3289 driven by Gary Cozier of Bel Air, which was at the time traveling north on the route from Kingstown to Rillen Hill. An older sister of the deceased, Raquel Jackson, told our news team that her sister left work to pick up her daughter from a preschool in the Rillen Hill community. Jackson says she understands that her sister was standing along the roadside with 2 other children when the accident occurred.
She have 3 kids, 2 boys, 1 girl. She was going for the girl by the school, but she stopped off to pick up 2 other children that is not her own. And while going for the children, she saw the vehicle coming and tried covering the children them now. The vehicle picked her up instead. But the children them are damaged. They are at the hospital, but they're in good condition. They're in stable condition. But she got the worst of it.
According to the grieving sister, counselors have already visited the family to speak with the children of the deceased, who are having a difficult time dealing with their mother's death. Jackson said while a representative of an insurance company visited the family, they are yet to hear from someone at the company which insured the ill-fated pickup. Jackson said since the accident, they have been hearing a lot of talk as to the state of the driver at the time of the accident. However, she feels that the driver should have known better and done better to save her sister's life.
Well, we saw the guy walking up and down. Somebody told us that is the guy, and he looked perfectly normal to me. And what they're saying is that he even stopped in Camden Park saying that, I'm not sure if it's true, that's what I've heard, that he has a sugar problem and he stopped looking for sweetie or something sweet to drink. Now, if you're in Camden Park looking for something sweet to drink there, and because of your diabetes, the sugar level is falling, there is a clinic right there. Seek medical attention, seek medical help. Don't drive in that kind of condition. You understand? Look at the ending of it. A life is gone. What are we supposed to do? How are we supposed to deal with this?
Jackson said her sister was the 3rd of 5 siblings and that she was the peacemaker in the family who will be greatly missed.
The family right now, just coming together and coping as a family, trying to come to terms of what had actually happened. I mean, it's not easy losing a sister, and Chanel was one of the most peaceful siblings among us. She's the one who normally would keep the peace. She's very humble and she don't speak much, but she's very friendly. She was very friendly.
The investigation into the accident is ongoing. The Ministry of Education today said it is providing support to all principals, teachers and students during the period of the premature closure of schools due to the COVID-19 pandemic. A decision was taken earlier this week to close all schools in SVG on Friday, March 20th, 1 week earlier than the scheduled Easter break. In a news release, Senior Education Officer with the Curriculum Development Unit, Aldia Gums-Dyer, said to ensure that all students are not negatively affected by the sudden disruption of the school term, principals, teachers, parents and guardians are encouraged to access learning materials for students on the Curriculum Unit website, svgcdu.org. Practice tests will also be made available on the site for students sitting the Caribbean Primary Exit Assessment CPEA. Gums-Dyer said the ministry is currently in the process of working with teachers to put together worksheets and other learning materials so that will be made available, in hard copies for students who may be unable to access the internet. The education officer said telecommunications company Digicel is also working with the ministry to have web-based learning sites and platforms 0 rated. This means if an individual is out of Wi-Fi range, they will still be able to access the site without having to pay for data. Plans are already being made to have educators trained to deliver online education to students where the need arises. The ministry is reminding the public that all scheduled school activities for the rest of the school term have been postponed until further notice. All divisions and campuses of the SVG Community College will close for 2 weeks in the first instance, starting next Monday, the 23rd, to Friday, April 3rd. The college made the announcement today. It advises full-time and part-time students to contact their lecturers and/or program coordinators for information regarding access to course materials and submission of outstanding work. Students having difficulty accessing their college email accounts or the college learning platform are asked to send an email to studentsupport@svgcc.vc requesting assistance. Other queries can be directed to the dean, deputy dean, or divisional officers. The college encourages students to monitor the local and global situation regarding COVID-19 by checking reliable sources for information and to continue following safety precautions. Today, the Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment partnered with the Center for Enterprise Development Incorporated, CED, to host an information session on COVID-19 with small business operators. The session was held at the Methodist Church Hall. CED's training coordinator, Keisha Phillips, said that the information session was planned before SVG got its first case of COVID-19, as small businesses were already making queries as to what would be the national response. She, however, expressed disappointment with the turnout at today's event.
Where we realized that a number of the MSMEs that we have as our clientele had not thought of putting a plan B in place to cope in the event of COVID-19. And so we reached out to the Ministry of Health, and they readily agreed to conduct this informative session for us. We've partnered with the Ministry of Culture, the Department of Culture, in hosting today's activity, and we are really happy with the way it went. Of course, turnout could have been a lot better. We had about 35 persons there, and the information came firsthand. It was quite interactive. A lot of misconceptions were dispelled by the health technical team, and we are happy for that.
Phillips said the CED's office will be open to assist other small business operators who may have queries about the virus and response measures through the Ministry of Health.
Health officials did say that this is the last week they would be conducting informative sessions of this nature, realizing that the demand for their services have increased, and they also are putting themselves at risk the more they go out there. So this is the last week that they would be doing this, but of course our doors are always open to anyone at CED who needs information, who needs assistance. If, for instance, the query they may have could be something that we, of course we're not health experts, we would be able to direct them or liaise with the Ministry of Health and the Environment to get the correct information and to pass that along.
Other persons represented at today's session were from the Department of Culture, Invest SVG, producers, entertainers, and the Carnival Development Corporation, the CDC. Health Promotions Officer Shanika John, who led the awareness campaign on the pandemic, said that the session was interactive as many myths and untruths about the coronavirus were addressed.
Washing is a very important tool. Don't underestimate the power of it. We really want people to stock up on liquid soap versus hand sanitizer, but that has gone, out of its way already. But continue to wash your hands for 20 seconds, and the Ministry of Health will continue to update accordingly. Stay where you are if you have flu-like symptoms, and especially if you have a travel history or you would have interacted with someone who you think is a possible COVID suspect. Stay where you are, call us, advise us. I was in the office this morning and we got probably about 20 calls already, and that was between probably 8 to about 9 or 8:30 to 9 o'clock. We have set up some other phones, so there are multiple persons operating. The phones, the calls are routed to cell phone for further guidance and direction, so it's full hands on deck.
And more than 25 taxi and omnibus operators were also sensitized today on the coronavirus or COVID-19 and what measures they can take to protect themselves and their customers. Leading the sensitization exercise was infectious disease specialist Dr. Gerald Thompson, who explained to the operators that the first line of defense is at the various ports of entry, and they are in the second line, hence the need to take all precautions seriously.
We want to make sure that as those passengers come off, or people come up on a ferry and they that they meet a vehicle that has been thoroughly cleaned. You understand? And the previous passenger who was there and you will not transmit an infection to them. But more so, we got to see how they do not leave the germ inside your vehicle.
Dr. Thompson advised the drivers to be observant of their passengers or customers and to do their part by cleaning likely contaminated areas.
Same time, I want you, as you pick up passengers, to observe them, you know? And then if you find somebody who has vomited or somebody who, you know, they're in your car now and they seem possibly to have contaminated an area. So all surfaces the person came into contact with must be cleaned and disinfected, including objects which are visibly contaminated with body fluids. Now you may not know that, but you could tell if the person has coughed that that particular area may well be contaminated.
Dr. Thompson outlined the recommended items that should be used by the taxi and omnibus operators as they plied their trade.
I want to recommend paper towels because cloths somehow, because they look nice, we tend to want to wring them out and put them away for another rainy day. But don't do that. So I've crossed out cloth, you know, and then use either combined detergent and disinfectant, and you heard about the Clorox and water and household detergent. But as you are, some people may feel the Clorox may be too harsh. You don't want to bring somebody into the vehicle with that Clorox smell. Truthfully, some of those other disinfectants, the Fabuloso and...
At today's session, flyers were distributed to the drivers who were represented by their respective associations. As many institutions implement measures to protect their staff and customers from COVID-19, the local prison service is also doing its part to protect all those behind the prison walls. Speaking with our news team today, Superintendent of Prisons Brenton Charles said they have been partnering with the Ministry of Health to sensitize staff and inmates on the virus. He said other measures instituted at the 3 prison facilities include reducing visitation to 1 person per inmate, the placement of hand sanitizers, encouraging hand washing, and the use of vitamin C to help build the immune system of staff and inmates. The prison superintendent said they have also designated a location at the Belle Isle facility for quarantine if necessary. All programs of the prison service have also been suspended for 21 days, with the exception of those conducted outside of the prisons and the futsal competition. In light of the global travel advisory issued last Friday by the Canadian government, warning citizens to avoid all non-essential travel outside of the country, Air Canada says it will temporarily suspend flights to a number of destinations, including SVG. Air Canada says it will suspend flights to SVG for 1 month from March 30th to April 30th. Currently, Air Canada operates 2 flights into SVG on Thursdays and Sundays out of Pearson International Airport in Toronto. The airline said it will continue to monitor the evolving situation closely in consultation with the Public Health Agency of Canada, Transport Canada, and Global Affairs, and will adjust its schedule accordingly. Since the spread of the coronavirus, persons worldwide have been stocking up on hand sanitizers, toilet paper, and other hygienic products, which have resulted in a shortage at some supermarkets, pharmacies, and other points of purchase. Here at home, the situation is no different. However, Executive Director of the Chamber of Industry and Commerce, Anthony Regisford, said that at the moment there is enough toilet paper in stock. Regisford said after some discussion with local manufacturers, he was assured that supplies of toilet paper and other manufactured goods remained normal.
Now, for some reason, people have been rushing to buy toilet paper. Unexplained to me, but I don't think we need to explain that. But just to tell you that I also spoke to our manufacturers, of the local manufacturer of toilet paper, and Mr. Mall, Monty Mall, St. Vincent Manufacturers. And what he said to me was that there's a particular brand that is under a bit of pressure because the demand for that has gone up. So They're feeling a bit of pressure there, but that he will soon normalize. And they're on top of it. They've got adequate supply of raw materials to continue to manufacture their toilet paper. So ECGC, they are fairly confident that they will be able to meet their demand locally and also their export demand, and so too past enterprises.
Regisford said it is important for trade and commerce to continue as reasonably as possible, as premature action can create more harm than good.
I think we need to deal with these things as we get to that point. You mentioned that there's only one recorded case, so there's no evidence of, at this point, of community spread. Okay? Some people may argue, well, then don't wait until it happens. You shut everything down. I would like to say that from the Chamber of Commerce's standpoint, we want to ensure that trade and commerce continues for as long as reasonably possible. Okay? It is important. It is important that people have a means of earning an income, those who are employed. It's important that businesses continue to do trade and commerce. There's no need for us to overreact and to do something prematurely that brings on a different problem, one of an economic crunch, because that has far-reaching implications.
Persons may use the opportunity to create businesses to address the needs of a population bogged down by the virus. Regisford said this is welcomed as long as they don't take advantage of consumers.
Epidemic, whichever one, but I will say to you first and foremost, what I do not consider an opportunity is to price gouge. Now, the Chamber of Industry and Commerce will not condone that. We will not condone a member who practices price gouging. That's not the spirit of doing business. That's not a good corporate citizen. So we're certainly not going to condone that. So clearly, that's not an opportunity or a channel that you should pursue to make money because a commodity is scarce, that you know, exploit people's needs. We're not going to encourage that. But on the other hand, look, in any situation, there are always people who can prosper. Okay, in any dire situation, there's always somebody who can prosper. Opportunities pop up. That's for the entrepreneurial mind. You know, once they're doing business in a fair manner, not breaking the law, then and being fair, as I say, to the consumers, all power to them. Okay? All power to them.
Vice President of JCI West Indies, Kevin Cornett, is inviting persons here between the ages of 18 and 40 to become members of JCI St. Vincent. JCI is a non-government, non-profit organization which assists members with their personal development and networking with other members across the world. JCI St. Vincent has 30 members, with only 15 said to be active. During a recent visit to SVG, Cornett was engaged with a JCI recruitment pop-up drive at the SVG Community College. He spoke to SVG-TV News about his visit and expectations.
JCI is not just another non-profit or another youth club. Right, I would say that it is a youth club with a difference. So being a part of JCs, a young person being a part of JCs, is guaranteed that it would assist them in being a rounded individual, right? Because the programs that we do here at JCI would assist you academically, it will also assist you work-wise and in your life. The skills that you earn here could take you through life. So it's very important or essential for a young person to want to be a part of JCI.
The President and Vice President of JCI St. Vincent, Terrence Williams and Shanice Stewart, spoke about their planned program of activities for the rest of the year.
In July we have planned a Catamaran cruise. That's an all-inclusive. So, and those proceeds from these two fundraisers, they go towards financing the operations of the chapter, to provide trainings and donations, because we do donations along with the healthcare that was mentioned. Right. Also in December we have an vacation raffle. Wow, we are offering this raffle because we realize a lot of institutions, even though that we are working, a lot of us don't take that time to relax.
Inspector Clark, yes, he was very informative in demonstrating how the use of a fire extinguisher, telling us that an exit area is very important and stuff like that. So all this was covered within the fire safety training, and members of the public were very receptive of it. And because of that, now we are looking to hold another one later down in the year, but this one will be certified, so therefore we will not have it at the secretariat. We would have it in an open space so that he can demonstrate how to out a fire and all this.